I'm Eleanor, 35 years old, still mending from scars my family left behind. I'm a successful software developer, free from their toxic grip, but I kept in touch now and then. Last Sunday, they invited me to a fancy brunch to catch up. Over mimosas and avocado toast, my mother smirked and said, "You're lucky we even include you, Eleanor." Pity goes a long way. I just sipped my coffee, smiled, and stayed quiet. That night, I logged into their accounts, shut down every family credit card, and emailed my lawyer about selling the cabin. Where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments below. If you've ever had to stand up to family who undervalued you, hit like and subscribe. I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, where our wealth looked like privilege to outsiders. But our big colonial house, with its perfect lawn and heated pool, was cold and full of impossible expectations. My bedroom, painted pale blue because my mother, Elaine, wanted it, ignoring my love for green, was my safe space and my cage. All through school, I earned straight A's, joined honor societies, and led the debate team. But my achievements were ignored, while my brother Nathan got endless praise for his average grades and the so-so baseball skills. At my high school graduation, I gave the valedictorian speech. My father, Richard, scrolled on his BlackBerry the whole time. My mother later said my dress looked cheap. "We expect perfection from you, Eleanor," my father would say when I showed him my flawless report cards. "Nathan needs more support. He's not gifted like you." Those words, meant as praise, were their excuse to overlook me. Our family's money came from my father's company, Richard Wilson Enterprises, a real estate business he built in the 80s. By the time I was 10, it owned shopping centers across 3 states. My mother, a former Virginia beauty queen, chased status, not kindness. She joined charity boards for connections, not compassion, and threw dinner parties where I was paraded briefly before being sent upstairs, like a prop. Our Vermont cabin on Lake Champlain, with its 6 bedrooms and private dock, was the picture of family bliss in our Christmas cards. But weekends there were lonely. My father worked remotely, my mother planned events on the phone, and Nathan played video games. I read alone on the dock. When I was 12, I overheard my mother on the phone with her sister. "Eleanor's smart, sure, but she's awkward. Nathan's got that natural charm people love." After that, I always announced myself before entering a room. I earned a full scholarship to MIT for computer science, but my parents acted like it was a letdown. "We could have paid," my father said, as if my success stole their spotlight. Nathan went to Boston College, barely passing, with my parents covering his tuition and a fancy off-campus apartment. In college, I sharpened my financial skills alongside coding. A stock prediction algorithm I built for a project caught the eye of investment firms. By graduation, I turned my small stipend into a solid investment portfolio through smart market moves. My financial know-how pulled me deeper into family drama. When Nathan blew $40,000 in one weekend on reckless penny stock trades, my father asked me to watch things. By my late 20s, I was their unofficial financial advisor. I set up trusts, managed investments, streamlined taxes, and built a digital system for their finances, bill payments, secure logins, everything. I knew it all inside out, all while climbing the ladder at a financial software firm to become a senior developer. My Cambridge apartment was simple, despite my growing wealth. My 2-bedroom condo, with its industrial vibe and book-lined walls, felt like home. Friends like Sophia and Jordan, who truly knew me, came over for wine and real talks. They were my chosen family, giving me the connection my real family never did. Still, I clung to hope that my parents and brother would one day value me. Every birthday dinner or holiday visit reopened old wounds that never healed. I kept managing their money, giving expertise they needed but brushed off. "Eleanor's got her little tech job," my mother would say at charity galas, patting my hand like I was a child. It made my objections feel petty. My father stayed distant, buried in work, only texting when he needed financial or tech help. Nathan joined Dad's company as a vice president, a title with no real work. Others did his job. Yet, I held the keys to their financial world. Every password, every payment, every account ran through my systems. They leaned on me while acting like it was nothing. That tension was ready to snap before that brunch. The brunch invite came via text while I was coding at work. Family brunch Sunday, Maison Bleu, 11 a.m. Your presence expected. No warmth, just my mother's usual orders. She didn't know I'd just found troubling transactions in the family accounts. Nathan had pulled nearly $80,000 from his trust fund in 2 months, mostly at ATMs near Mohegan Sun Casino. I traced the transactions to ATMs near Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. Digging deeper, I found Nathan had opened secret credit cards with massive balances. His gambling addiction explained his shaky hands and constant pleas for short-term loans from our parents. They didn't see it, blaming his money troubles on his recent divorce from Vanessa. This put me in a tough spot. Exposing Nathan's addiction would spark family drama, but hiding it felt like enabling him. On top of that, my parents planned to renovate our Vermont cabin without asking me, even though I partly owned it, inherited from my grandmother. Their plans erased the library she left me in her will. With these tensions brewing, I grudgingly agreed to brunch. The night before, I prepared carefully. I picked a charcoal gray dress, simple but pricey enough to pass my mother's judgment. I practiced safe conversation topics and set firm boundaries on what I'd share. Sunday morning brought bright spring sun, hiding my inner storm. I drove my Audi to Maison Bleu, a pricey French bistro my mother chose for its social status in Boston's Back Bay, with big windows to show off. I arrived right on time, but my family was already seated. My father looked sharp in his navy suit, silver hair perfect. My mother wore her usual pearls and an ivory dress, her blonde highlights fresh. Nathan looked rough, despite his fancy clothes, with dark circles and trembling hands as he checked his phone. Eleanor, darling, 15 minutes early is on time, my mother said as I sat. I was exactly on time, but her jab set the mood. The waiter came quickly. Welcome to Maison Bleu. Drinks? Mimosas for everyone? My father cut in, Eleanor will have black coffee. She avoids alcohol because of migraines. That was a lie. I skipped drinks around them to stay sharp. I'll have sparkling water with lemon and coffee, I said softly. My mother sighed. Always so difficult. Other families around us shared real moments. A dad nearby listened to his teenage daughter, an older couple held hands. Their warmth made our stiff gathering feel like a show. The waiter brought drinks and took our orders. My mother called my avocado toast boring but praised Nathan's steak and eggs, ignoring his clear hangover. How's your programming job? My father asked, checking his watch. Software development, I corrected. My team's new financial security platform just got picked up by 3 big banks. That's nice, my mother cut in. Nathan closed a $40 million Westfield deal. Nathan squirmed. I knew from the accounts that deal fell apart weeks ago, a lie to keep up appearances. Congrats, I said calmly, noting his discomfort. My mother led the talk, gossiping about friends, country clubs, and my single status. Jennifer Wilson's engaged, her 3rd marriage. You're still waiting for your first. Maybe independence fits your personality. A young server noticed our tension, giving me a kind smile as she refilled my water. She'd seen families like mine before. We expect you at the cabin renovation reveal next month, my mother said suddenly. Everyone important will be there. I didn't know renovations were approved, I said cautiously. As a co-owner, I deserve to say. My father brushed it off. Just a technicality. Your grandmother was emotional. We need to modernize. Hurwell left me the library, I said. That dusty book room? It's now a media room for Nathan's clients, my mother snapped. You barely visit. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm. I visit monthly to manage the property and accounts. Nathan jumped in nervously. Speaking of accounts, I need more access. For business. I saw through it, he wanted cash for gambling. Before I could answer, our food arrived, pausing the talk. I caught my parents exchanging a look, silently scheming. Eleanor, my mother started after the server left, her voice syrupy with a sting coming, "We've been talking about your role in the family." My father added, "Your skills helped, but Nathan's taking over finances now." They wanted me out of the accounts to hide Nathan's mess. "I see," I said, slicing my toast precisely. "That's a big change. The systems are complex." "You always make things hard," my mother said. "Nathan's got a Goldman Sachs advisor now. Much more professional." I knew it was a lie, no pro would back Nathan's reckless spending. The brunch grew heavier, pushing me toward a breaking point. As plates were cleared, I saw a family nearby, full of real love. The dad cut his daughter's pancakes, the mom listened to her son's story. My mother caught me looking. "Some people are made for family life," she said sharply. "It takes warmth and flexibility." I sipped my cold coffee, staying silent. My father checked his phone, announcing, "We're meeting the cabin's interior designer Tuesday. The contractor says it'll be done by July." "I'd like my library kept as is," I said firmly but softly. "Grandmother Elise left it to me in her will." Nathan scoffed, "You and your books. We need a space people actually use." "I use it," I shot back. "I work from there to manage the family accounts." My mother cut in, "Speaking of accounts, it's time you hand them over to Nathan's new financial team. You're too distant from our daily lives to control family matters." Her words stung. They wanted me out because I might uncover Nathan's gambling or fight their cabin plans, after years of running their finances for free. "Is my role in the finances a problem?" I asked bluntly. My father looked up from his phone. "We just need clearer boundaries. Your tech skills helped with the digital shift, but Nathan's team is more professional now." "Professional? Through Nathan's contact?" I asked. Nathan squirmed. "My guy's top-notch. Harvard grad." A total lie. I stayed calm, but my mind raced. They weren't replacing me with better options, they wanted me gone because I knew too much. "Transferring the systems takes detailed work," I said carefully. "The security setup is complex." My mother sighed, "You always complicate things. That's why family time is so tense, you're always trying to control everything." "I'm not controlling," I said. "I built the systems you all depend on. Changing them needs proper steps." My mother set her napkin down, smirking. "You're lucky we even include you, Eleanor. Pity goes a long way. Most would have given up on someone so difficult." The restaurant's noise seemed to fade, though it didn't really. My father kept scrolling, silently agreeing. Nathan laughed nervously, glancing around. Memories flooded me, my 8th birthday with no friends invited, my ignored valedictorian speech, being dropped off early at college for Nathan's game. Years of being treated like a burden, not family. I stayed composed. I set my coffee cup down, feeling its cool edge, and adjusted my napkin. Then I looked up and smiled. "Thank you for your honesty, Mother," I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. She froze, expecting me to snap or cry. My calm threw her off. "Well," she said after a pause, "I'm just being honest. Family works when everyone knows their place." "Exactly," I replied, holding her gaze until she looked away. The rest of brunch was stiff small talk. My father rambled about stocks, unaware I'd written the reports he used. Nathan checked his phone, probably betting. My mother nitpicked other diners' outfits. I watched them like a stranger. Their patterns were clear now, my father in work, my mother used social rules to control, Nathan was spoiled into recklessness, and I was the capable one they leaned on while belittling. A couple nearby left, the husband helping his wife with her coat, a small, kind act. It hurt to see what my family lacked. What if I was valued just for being me? When the bill came, my father tossed his platinum card down, tied to accounts I managed. The irony hit hard. "We expect you at the design meeting Tuesday," my mother said, not asking. "I'll check my schedule," I said vaguely. "Work can wait for family priorities," she pushed. I smiled, my resolve firming. Family priorities matter, don't they? We left together, pretending to be a happy family. My father took a call. My mother air-kissed my cheek, barely touching. Nathan asked for a $5,000 loan by Friday, proving his gambling debts. "I'll see," I said, already decided. Walking to my car, the spring sun felt new. The weight of years pressed hard, but a spark of determination grew. My mother's cruel words now felt like freedom, not pain. If pity was why they kept me around, it was time to step away and set the boundaries I'd avoided for 35 years. The 20-minute drive to my Cambridge apartment blurred by. At home, I hung my coat, set my keys in their bowl, and went to my office. Surrounded by my books and achievements, I let the tears come, quiet at first, then heavy sobs that bent me over my chair. "You're lucky we even include you." My mother's words, "You're lucky we even include you," looped in my mind. For 35 years, I chased their approval, but they could never give it. I managed their finances for decades, yet they treated me like a burden. After 15 minutes of tears, I sat up, wiped my face, and opened my laptop. Grief could wait, I needed a plan. I logged into the family financial dashboard I built, showing all their accounts, properties, and investments. My father wanted it simple, so one admin, me, controlled everything. I documented every detail: account numbers, passwords, transactions, deeds, investments, credit lines, insurance, trusts, and taxes. I backed it all up offline, knowing I might need proof later. The data confirmed my fears. Nathan had pulled over $200,000 in a year, mostly cash from casino ATMs. My parents spent nearly $1 million on luxuries while griping about my automated charity donations. The Vermont cabin's $800,000 renovation, set to destroy my grandmother's library, lacked permits and my approval as co-owner. I started a secure document to list my options. As I mapped out the systems I controlled and my legal rights, a clear plan formed. My family called me difficult, but my precision, tech skills, and problem-solving were my strength now. I needed a lawyer. I called my friend Jordan, a corporate attorney. "I need someone for family financial disputes and property rights," I said, explaining briefly. "Vanessa Hargrove," he replied instantly. She handled my sister's messy divorce, smart, ethical, fearless. "I'll send her contact." I listed key family accounts, 4 parent credit cards, 3 of Nathan's, 2 joint checking accounts, the main investment portfolio, 5 property accounts including the cabin, bill payment systems, tax access, and trust interfaces. For each, I noted my admin rights to pause access for security, a rule my father signed off on without reading. I checked my grandmother Elisa's will. It clearly said, "The library at Lake Champlain is for my granddaughter Eleanor Wilson's lifetime use, a place for learning and reflection." Their renovation broke this legal promise. By 9 p.m., my emotions settled, and my plan was firm. I wouldn't act out of anger, though I had every right. I wouldn't seek revenge, though I could. I'd just stop shielding them from their choices and claim my rights. I ate a quick pasta and salad dinner, thinking through outcomes. They'd be mad, threaten, maybe fake remorse, but their patterns showed they'd never truly change. After dinner, I left a detailed message for Vanessa Hargrove. I emailed my boss for 2 personal days and my therapist for an urgent session. Self-care was key now. At 11 p.m., I started my plan. I logged into the financial dashboard and turned off auto payments for all family credit cards, keeping them active but exposing them to late fees. I added dual authentication to investments, freezing access. I removed overdraft protection from checking accounts. Nathan's secret cards would feel the hit first. Then, I wrote to the family lawyer about the cabin. "Dear Mr. Steinberg, I'm addressing the planned renovation at the Lake Champlain property. As a co-owner, I note the library is mine per Elise Wilson's will, attached. I haven't approved plans to demolish it. Please stop contractors immediately for legal review. I've copied the county permitting office. My new counsel, Vanessa Hargrove at Hamilton Legal Partners, will handle future contact. Regards, Eleanor Wilson. I sent it with documents, copying the contractor, permitting office, and Vanessa. Near midnight, I sent my family a final email. I'm stepping away from managing family finances, effective now. Security protocols are updated for safety. I've addressed the Vermont cabin issue legally. I'll be unreachable as I rethink my role in this family. I hit send on the email and logged out of all family accounts. I turned off my phone, bracing for the flood of notifications. For the first time in years, the heavy burden of family duty lifted. It wasn't victory or revenge, just a quiet, deep sense of freedom starting to bloom. I woke early the next morning, feeling oddly light. A tough fight was coming, but I focused on self-care, moving through my routine with purpose, brewing coffee, stretching, meditating for 5 minutes. These small acts anchored me in my own life, not their drama. At 8 a.m., I turned on my phone, 17 missed calls, 23 texts, 9 voicemails. I ignored them and called Vanessa Hargrove's office. Her assistant had booked me for 9:30. You'll need all documents on property ownership, financial systems, access agreements, and renovation communications, the assistant said. Already done, I replied, having organized my digital files at dawn. Before heading out, I tightened my security, new personal passwords, family removed from emergency contacts, extra protection on my accounts. I also pulled $4,000 cash from savings, ready for any financial fallout. Vanessa's office sat on the 14th floor of a sharp downtown building. She radiated calm confidence in a crisp gray suit, her handshake strong. Jordan raves about you, she said, offering a seat. He mentioned family financial tangles and property issues. For an hour, I laid out the facts clearly, backing each point with documents. Vanessa asked sharp questions, jotting detailed notes. Your legal standing is solid, she said. The cabin library is protected by the will. Your father granted you financial admin rights. What do you want from this? 3 things, I answered. Protect my cabin rights, fully exit family financial duties without being blamed, and shield myself from accusations over Nathan's gambling losses when they surface. Vanessa nodded. Smart goals. I suggest immediate legal notices to stop the cabin renovation, a formal resignation as financial admin with full account details, and preemptive proof of Nathan's unauthorized withdrawals to protect you. How fast can we move? I asked. Preliminary documents by this afternoon. The cabin injunction is urgent since construction's near. After her office, I went to a new bank, opening an account separate from my family's. I moved most of my money, leaving minimal funds in any linked accounts. By noon, my phone showed 30 more missed calls. I played one voicemail from my father. What are you doing? Fix this now. This is unacceptable. His demanding tone didn't faze me anymore. At 1 p.m., I met my therapist, Dr. Caroline Reed, who fit me in urgently. This is a major boundary, she said after I shared the events. How's the emotional toll? I'm torn between relief and guilt, I admitted. I know this protects me, but years of their conditioning linger. That guilt was planted to stop this, Dr. Reed said. They built those triggers to keep you in line. That afternoon, I worked with Vanessa's team, signing affidavits and reviewing notices. By 5 p.m., we'd filed an emergency injunction to halt the cabin renovation, submitted my resignation as financial admin with full account records, sent certified letters to banks about the authority change, secured proof of Nathan's gambling withdrawals, and hired a security firm to update my apartment locks and add cameras. What's next? I asked Vanessa. Escalation, then bargaining, she said plainly. They'll try to scare you into backing down. When that fails, they'll offer deals to regain control. They'll also try to crack your security measures. She was right. By evening, Nathan's texts turned to threats: "You're ruining the family." Dad's talking lawsuits. "Fix this before it's too late." I didn't reply, focusing on my safety. I alerted my workplace security to block family access, warned my building manager about potential visitors, and called the police non-emergency line to log the situation. That night, I reclaimed my space. I deleted the family calendar from my phone, erasing their birthdays and anniversaries. I unsubscribed from my mother's country club emails. I swapped family photos in my living room for art I loved but hid to avoid their judgment. Each step strengthened me. This wasn't just financial freedom, it was emotional liberation, undoing the systems of obligation and belittlement I'd once built for them. The next morning, Nathan called from an unblocked number. "My credit card got declined," he snapped. "I need $30,000 by tomorrow, or I'm in deep trouble." "What kind?" I asked calmly. "Casino markers," he admitted after a pause. "Look, I know Mom upset you, but this is serious. These guys don't mess around." "Your gambling debts aren't my problem," I said. "You disabled the payments," he yelled. "You did this on purpose." "I stepped down as admin when you all said I wasn't needed," I replied evenly. "Changes have consequences." Dad's livid. "He can't access the investments. Mr. Phillips at First National can help with new protocols." I left full documentation. "This isn't a game, Eleanor," Nathan warned. "You're ruining us." "The family was ruining me," I said, hanging up. Within an hour, my father's lawyer called Vanessa, demanding I restore all access in exchange for cabin talks. "I told them your resignation included updated protocols with full records," Vanessa said. "I also said the cabin work must stop due to the injunction already served to contractors." By day 3, their shock tactics faded into negotiation. My mother emailed a rare apology. My brunch words were rushed. "Family fights happen, but we should fix them together." Called to discuss restoring accounts and moving forward. I sent it to Dr. Reed, who replied, "Typical control move. It's vague, skips real accountability, and jumps to demands." I ignored my mother's email and all their attempts to reach me. I focused on rebuilding my life, free from their constant needs and criticism. Each day without their demands felt like healing from a long sickness, my strength slowly returning. The first month after the brunch incident was a whirlwind of legal battles, financial untangling, and personal reset. My family followed a predictable cycle: anger, threats, bargaining, then fake reconciliation. Nathan suffered most. Without family funds, his gambling debts piled up. Friends said he sold his fancy condo, moved to a basic apartment, and lost his Mercedes after missing payments. My father paid over $100,000 to settle Nathan's casino debts to avoid worse trouble. My parents faced their own fallout. Declined credit cards embarrassed them at social events. My father had to deal with banks himself, something he'd always left to me. My mother's country club fees went unpaid, leading to a late fee and a brief suspension. The cabin renovation turned into a legal mess beyond the library. Vanessa's filings led inspectors to find code violations and missing permits, halting construction with possible fines looming. I kept strict boundaries, routing all contact through Vanessa, who gave me weekly updates instead of passing on every message. I changed my email and phone, sharing them only with trusted friends and colleagues. Without family distractions, my career soared. I finished a big project early, earning praise from bosses, and took a speaking slot at a tech conference, something I'd skipped before due to family demands. Sophia and Jordan shielded me, screening invitations and offering comfort when memories hit hard. Other friends, neglected while I prioritized family, reconnected, happy to see me free. "You seem different," Alexis said at dinner 6 weeks later. "More here." "I'm learning to live without watching for criticism," I told her. 2 months in, Nathan got desperate. He showed up at my work, but security turned him away. He left notes at my old apartment, forwarded by my landlord, pleading, "I know I have a problem. I need your help to fix this." One note admitted his gambling addiction, but it felt like a tactic to pull me back in. My parents tried other angles. My father used business contacts to nudge me, dropping family concerns in work chats. My mother told her social circle I was having a breakdown, saying, "We're giving her space," spinning my boundaries as instability. 3 months after brunch, the Vermont town clerk called. "There's talk of selling the cabin," she said. "As co-owner, you'd need to sign off. Are you aware?" I wasn't. My parents, stuck with renovation issues and unable to use the cabin, were trying to sell it behind my back. Vanessa quickly filed legal notices to protect my cabin ownership. "They can't sell without your approval," she assured me. "It's just a pressure tactic." The next day, my father emailed me for the first time in months, "Your cabin obstruction makes it unsellable. We have buyers offering $7 million. Your share would be big. Contact me to discuss, or you'll miss out." His threat was obvious: cooperate or be cut out. Vanessa confirmed they had no legal way to sell without me. It was a bluff to pull me back. I didn't reply. For months after the brunch, my family faced real financial fallout. Nathan, now in Gamblers Anonymous, per friends, took a regular insurance job, a far cry from his fake executive role. My father, hit by investment losses without my oversight, scaled back his company and sold their Florida vacation home. My mother quit 2 charity boards, blaming family priorities, but really unable to afford the expected donations. I kept healing through weekly therapy, unlearning deep-seated beliefs about my worth. I started meditating regularly. I joined a pottery class I'd always wanted to try but thought was silly. I began dating casually, free from family judgment about my love life. 5 months in, my mother tried a new tactic. She showed up unannounced at a charity event, knowing I'd avoid a public scene. "You look well," she said near the restrooms, thinner, her outfit outdated for her usual fashion. "Thanks," I said coolly. "I need to get back. This separation's gone on too long," she pressed. "Your father and I can move past this. Nathan's improving. We need to reunite." "I'm not ready to talk," I said calmly. "We're your family," she snapped, her tone sharp. "You can't erase 35 years. "I'm not erasing it," I replied. "I'm respecting it by acting on it." I walked back to my friend's table. She left the event right after. 6 months in, Nathan surprised me. He asked Vanessa for a mediated meeting, just us. After talking with Dr. Reed, I agreed to a short, structured talk at Vanessa's office. Nathan looked different: no designer clothes, no flashy watch, no arrogant vibe. Just plain business casual and humility. "Thanks for meeting me," Nathan said, his voice softer than I remembered. We settled into Vanessa's conference room, a stark space with a long oak table and stiff chairs that felt too formal for siblings. The fluorescent lights cast a cold glow, but Nathan's presence was different, his eyes clearer, his posture open, lacking the defensive edge I'd grown used to. "I know you don't trust me," he added, his tone steady but carrying a humility I hadn't heard before. "Why are we here?" I asked, keeping my voice even. I'd only agreed to this meeting after long talks with Dr. Reed, my therapist, reminding myself that boundaries could flex without breaking. Trust was still a fragile thing, but I was open to listening. Nathan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, shiny chip, sliding it across the table. It caught the light, glinting like a tiny beacon. "Gamblers Anonymous," he explained. "This is my 6-month sobriety chip. I've tried the program before, but this time, it's sticking. Really sticking." "Congrats," I said, genuine warmth creeping into my voice despite my caution. A flicker of hope sparked inside me, though I kept my guard up. It was hard to ignore the effort when it sat there, tangible, in front of me. Hitting rock bottom woke me up, he said, leaning forward slightly, his hands clasped loosely. When you stopped enabling the whole family, everything just collapsed. Fast. Dad had to face the truth, his company was overextended, bleeding money he didn't want to see. Mom couldn't pretend her social status was solid anymore, it was all built on quicksand. And me? I had to admit I'm an addict, not some guy who just had a string of bad luck at the casino tables. His words hung in the air, raw and unguarded. I paused, letting them settle. Nathan rarely spoke without an excuse or deflection, this was new. Why tell me this? I asked, curiosity mixing with my wariness. Because you were right, he said simply, his eyes meeting mine with an honesty that felt foreign. About everything. Your actions, cutting us off, stepping back, they forced us to change. At least, they forced me. I'm not here to ask for money or help or even forgiveness. I just thought you deserved to know that what you did, as hard as it was, sparked real growth in me. We talked for about 30 minutes, the conversation unfolding more naturally than I'd expected. He shared details of his recovery, weekly meetings, working the steps, daily check-ins with his sponsor. His new job was modest, a far cry from the hollow vice president title he'd flaunted at Dad's company. It had regular hours, real responsibilities, and actual accountability. His apartment was a small studio, nothing fancy, where he was learning to live within his means for the first time. He didn't ask about my life, didn't push for updates or favors. It felt respectful, like talking to someone new, not the brother who'd leaned on entitlement for so long. As we wrapped up, he leaned back, his expression softening. I always knew you were the strongest one of us, he said, his words cutting through the walls I'd built. But I never got it before, your kind of strength, the quiet, steady kind, is the one that matters most. I didn't promise more meetings right then. I'll consider it, I told him, my voice calm but firm, if your recovery stays on track. As I left Vanessa's office, the weight of the conversation settled over me. It was the first family interaction in 6 months that hadn't left me feeling diminished or drained. Instead, it planted a small seed of possibility, a chance that something real could grow, if we both kept showing up honestly. My parents, though, didn't budge an inch. Word of my meeting with Nathan must have reached them, maybe he let it slip, or a mutual acquaintance mentioned it. They saw it as a crack in my armor, an opening to pull me back. My father sent a formal letter, typed on crisp company stationery, outlining what he called a family reunification plan. It was nothing but demands: resume managing the financial accounts, drop my legal objections to the Vermont cabin renovations, and act like the brunch never happened. No apologies, no acknowledgement of the hurt, just a cold push to return to the old roles. My mother's voicemail came next, her voice dripping with false sweetness before sharpening with impatience. Now that tempers have cooled, we can put this unfortunate misunderstanding behind us, she said, as if her words at brunch, "You're lucky we even include you," were a fleeting misstep, not a dagger that had cut deep. I saved both the letter and the message, storing them in a folder for legal records in case things escalated. But I didn't respond. Their refusal to even glance at the real issues, the emotional neglect, the blatant favoritism, the toxic patterns, proved my boundaries were still vital. Without them, I'd slide right back into the role of the dutiful, invisible fixer. 6 months after that fateful brunch, I stood at a crossroads, paths branching out in directions I'd never dared imagine. The legal knots around the cabin and family finances had mostly unraveled, with formal agreements that cleanly severed my involvement. My career was thriving in ways that surprised even me, projects moved faster, my ideas sharper without the constant drag of family crises pulling me under. My friendships deepened, rooted in people who saw me for who I was, not what I could do for them. And my sense of self? It was growing stronger daily, like a muscle finally free to flex and build. The future was uncertain, a vast expanse of unknowns. But for the first time, that didn't scare me. It felt like freedom, a wide-open space to breathe, to choose my own way. I'd learned that toxic family ties weren't sacred obligations to carry forever. They were patterns, stitched together over years, that could be unpicked if they caused more harm than good. My mother's words at that brunch, once a piercing wound, now felt like the key that had unlocked my cage. They'd forced me to see the truth I'd dodged for so long, pushing me to step out and stand firm. A year passed in a quiet rhythm of transformation. Seasons shifted around me, fall leaves crunching under my boots as I walked Cambridge's streets, winter snow piling high outside my apartment, spring blossoms signaling renewal, summer warmth inviting new possibilities. Holidays came and went without the forced gatherings that had always left me tense, waiting for the next slight. No more Thanksgiving dinners where my contributions were brushed aside, no Christmas cards pretending we were a perfect family. For my 36th birthday, I celebrated with friends at a cozy beachside restaurant, the ocean's waves a soothing backdrop to laughter and clinking glasses. No strained family dinner where my preferences were ignored or mocked. Sophia, always the organizer, crafted a menu of my favorite seafood, fresh oysters, grilled lobster, creamy clam chowder that warmed me through. Jordan surprised me with a cake in my true favorite flavor, dark chocolate with raspberry filling, not the vanilla my family always assumed I liked. A dozen close friends gathered, raising glasses not to the Eleanor they wanted, dutiful, quiet, useful, but to the real me, emerging stronger, more authentic with every passing day. Therapy with Dr. Reed moved from crisis control to deep, foundational healing. We dug into the roots of my self-worth, tracing back to childhood moments when praise was withheld and expectations loomed like shadows. We unraveled the family conditioning that had taught me my value lay in what I could do, not who I was. Together, we built a new framework, a life guided by my own values, like integrity, compassion, and resilience, instead of chasing the fleeting approval of others. Healing isn't straight, Dr. Reed said during a heavy session as we revisited childhood memories that still stung. The room felt dense, sunlight slicing through the blinds in sharp stripes across her notebook. Some days, old patterns will crash back, overwhelming you. Guilt might slip in, uninvited. That longing for family approval, it could sneak up when you're not ready. Those moments don't mean failure. They're signs you're human, that you're healing. Her words became my anchor on harder days. There were nights when doubt crept in, whispering that I'd been too harsh, too cold. Mornings when the loneliness of distance hit like a wave. But I leaned on the tools we'd crafted, journaling to untangle my thoughts, deep breathing to calm the storm inside, small rituals to ground me in the present. My career surged with the energy I'd reclaimed. Free from the constant interruptions, urgent texts for tech fixes, calls for financial rescues, I poured myself into my work. I earned a major promotion to Director of Financial Security Systems, leading a team developing cutting-edge protocols to protect digital assets. The role felt like it was made for me, blending my coding skills with the strategic thinking I'd sharpened over years. The irony wasn't lost on me. My family had scoffed at these skills, calling them my little computer job, while relying on them to keep their world afloat. Now, those same skills were my wings, lifting me to new heights on my own terms. 14 months after the brunch, life threw me an unexpected moment. I was at a financial technology conference in Boston, the air buzzing with industry leaders swapping ideas on innovation. My father's company was there, presenting on commercial real estate trends. As I rounded a corner in the crowded exhibition hall, there he was, face to face, both of us stopping short, caught off guard. He'd aged more than I expected. His once perfect silver hair was unkempt, strands falling out of place. New lines carved his face, telling stories of stress and time. Yet his confident posture held, that air of authority he'd always worn like armor. "Eleanor," he said, his nod curt, his voice neutral. "Richard," I replied, choosing his first name over Dad. It felt right, a quiet claim of equality. He glanced at my speaker badge, the bold print marking me as a panelist. "You're presenting tomorrow." "Yes," I confirmed. "A panel on financial security infrastructure." Silence stretched between us, heavy with decades of unspoken truths. The hall hummed around us, conversations, laughter, the clink of coffee cups, but we stood in a bubble, isolated by history. "Your brother is doing better," he said at last, breaking the quiet. "1 year sober next month." I know, I said. We speak occasionally. His eyebrows lifted, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. Nathan had kept our cautious reconnection private, part of his own boundaries as he worked through recovery. Your mother would like to hear from you, he pressed, his tone slipping into the old expectation of obedience, as if I'd simply comply. That would require acknowledgement of past patterns and a commitment to different behavior, I replied, my words calm but unyielding. He stiffened, his posture tightening. Families disagree, Eleanor. Holding grudges serves no purpose. This isn't about grudges, I countered. It's about patterns of interaction that are harmful. We provided everything for you, he began, his defensive shield rising, the same tired justification I'd heard for years. Material provisions, I cut in, without emotional connection or respect. I glanced around the busy hall. But this isn't the time or place for that discussion. A colleague approached then, greeting me with a warm handshake and a smile, breaking the tension. It gave me a natural exit. My father nodded curtly and walked away, his posture radiating the same dismissal I'd felt as a child, back straight, head high, as if the conversation was beneath him. But something had changed in me. His disapproval, once a trigger that sent me spiraling into anxiety and self-doubt, now slid off me like water. I saw it for what it was, a weak pattern, not a verdict on my worth. I stood taller, grounded in my own strength, as I moved through the conference, engaging with peers who valued my contributions. The Vermont cabin saga found resolution through steady legal channels. My parents, blocked by permit issues and my legal rights to the library, eventually offered to buy out my ownership share. It wasn't a simple choice, part of me wanted to cling to that piece of my grandmother's legacy. But after long talks with Vanessa, weighing the emotional and practical costs, I agreed to fair terms. The deal honored my inheritance and the property's appreciated value, closing a painful chapter with a sense of finality. With part of the proceeds, I bought a small waterfront cottage on a quiet lake in New Hampshire. It was modest but perfect, a cozy haven with floor-to-ceiling windows that let the sunlight dance across the water's surface. Built-in bookshelves lined the walls, ready to hold my growing collection, transforming the space into a personal library. It became my weekend retreat, where I could sit with a novel or my laptop, listening to the gentle lapping of waves and the calls of loons, free from the echoes of family criticism that had clung to the old cabin. My relationship with Nathan grew slowly, step by careful step. We kept to monthly coffee meetings at neutral spots, a small cafe downtown, a quiet bakery with warm scones. These moments carved out space for real connection, untainted by our parents' influence or the old family dynamics that had kept us at odds. Nathan stayed sober, attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings with dedication, working his program with a focus I hadn't seen in him before. He was rebuilding his life on a foundation of accountability, leaving behind the entitlement that had once defined him. One chilly afternoon, as we sat in a corner booth with steaming mugs, he opened up more than usual. I dream about gambling almost every night, he confessed, his eyes fixed on his coffee, swirling the spoon absently. My therapist says it's normal, the neural pathways take years to rewire completely. What helps when the urges hit? I asked, genuinely curious about what kept him grounded. Remembering the consequences, he said without pause. Not just the money I burned through, but who I became when I was in deep, the lies I told, the manipulation, the version of myself I never want to be again. His words carried a raw honesty, a self-awareness that marked a profound shift. Our relationship wasn't without its complexities, layered with years of history, but it was growing into something new, built on mutual respect, a first for us. My mother, though, showed no signs of change. After my run-in with my father at the conference, she doubled down, trying to reach me through every channel she could find. It started with subtle moves, messages passed through mutual friends, casual "how are you?" notes that carried hidden pleas for reconciliation. Then came social media, likes on old posts, comments hinting at family unity. She even orchestrated public run-ins, appearing at events she knew I'd attend through our overlapping social circles. Each attempt carried the same underlying demand: come back to the old patterns, no need to address the harm done. No apologies, no reflection, just an expectation that I'd return to my role as the compliant daughter. I held my boundaries firmly, responding politely when I had to but never engaging deeply. It wasn't about spite, it was about protecting the peace I'd fought so hard to build. 18 months after the brunch, we crossed paths at a mutual friend's wedding. The venue was stunning, with flowers spilling from arches and music floating through the air. She approached me near the dance floor, a champagne flute gripped tightly, her dress elegant but missing her usual flawless polish. "You look thin," she said, her tone lacing criticism with concern, a tactic I knew well. "Are you eating properly?" "I'm well, thank you," I replied, keeping my voice neutral, neither rising to the bait nor retreating. "This arrangement has gone on long enough," she said, lowering her voice as if we shared a secret. "People are talking. It reflects poorly on the family." Her focus on appearances, not connection, showed nothing had changed. "I'm not estranged," I said calmly, holding her gaze. "I'm establishing healthy interaction patterns." "By cutting off your own mother?" Her voice shifted to that wounded tone, honed over years to pull at guilt. "By requiring mutual respect as a condition of closeness," I clarified, my words steady but without anger. She shook her head, a small, dismissive gesture, unable to grasp a world where her actions, not my reactions, were the problem. "You always were difficult," she sighed, retreating to the narrative that had shaped her view of me for decades. "No," I said, clarity ringing in my voice. "I was always clear about my needs and boundaries. That clarity was called difficult because it didn't serve others' wants." Our conversation faded into the wedding's hum, no resolution, no escalation. I rejoined my friends at our table, their warmth a shield I didn't need to explain. Like my moment with my father, this encounter hammered home a truth: some people can change, but others choose to stay tethered to stories that keep them in control, no matter the cost to relationships. 2 years after the brunch that changed everything, I sat on the dock at my New Hampshire cottage. The wooden planks were warm beneath me, the sunset painting the lake in vivid golds and crimsons, the water reflecting the sky like a mirror. A journal lay open in my lap, its pages filled with reflections, messy notes, crossed-out doubts, affirmations that grew stronger with time. It mapped my journey from that tense Sunday morning to this quiet evening, every step, stumble, and triumph. Healing wasn't a straight line, it was a winding path with sharp climbs and sudden dips. Certain dates still carried weight, the brunch anniversary stirred a mix of pride and lingering pain. Holidays brought complex memories, moments of past joy tangled with tension. Dreams sometimes pulled me back to old arguments, waking me with a racing heart, as if I were still at that brunch table. But the bigger picture showed progress, toward wholeness, not brokenness, toward growth, not the stagnation I'd lived with for so long. Through this painful but necessary separation, I learned truths that reshaped my world. Family isn't defined by blood or obligation, it's built on mutual respect and care. My chosen family, Sophia, Jordan, and others, showed me this daily, with interactions that lifted me up, not tore me down. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're tools for healthy relationships. By setting clear expectations for how I deserve to be treated, I made space for real connections where they could grow and protection where they couldn't. Financial ties, I saw, often mask emotional control. The illusion of generosity, big houses, paid expenses, while withholding love creates a toxic dependency that's hard to break. True independence means standing on your own, both financially and emotionally, free from those strings. Healing starts with facing reality, not hiding in comfortable lies. Naming the truth, "You're lucky we even include you," gave me the power to act, to step away from patterns that diminished me. The biggest lesson was about my worth. It can't come from others' approval, no matter how much I craved it. That validation was a mirage, always tied to my usefulness, never my inherent value. Real security comes from within, from living true to my values, honesty, kindness, resilience, instead of bending to expectations that never fit me. As night fell, the lake grew still, wrapped in a quiet hush. I closed my journal, watching stars emerge in the northern sky, bright against the vast darkness. The future was unwritten, a canvas of possibilities. Maybe, with time and healing, I could forge new family ties based on respect, not old wounds. Or maybe some relationships would stay distant, a necessary shield for my peace. Both paths felt like victories, honoring my true needs over roles I'd been forced into. The road from that brunch table, laden with mimosas, avocado toast, and cruel words, to this calm evening had been long and hard, paved with tears, doubts, and hard-won strength. But it was necessary. My mother's words, once a wound that festered, now felt like the spark that set me free. They marked the moment denial crumbled against undeniable truth. By admitting my inclusion was out of pity, not love, she'd unknowingly handed me the key to escape a toxic cycle. Have you ever had to set boundaries with someone you loved, even when it hurt? Have you found your voice after years of being overlooked? The journey to self-worth is tough but vital. Share your story in the comments, and if this resonated, like and subscribe. Thank you for following my path. May you find the courage to live your truth, no matter what it takes.